Okay, so clearly this is the pick we were waiting for. Clearly Terrace Marshall has been the best wide receiver available on the board for a very long time now. And I want to say that the teams ahead of the Carolina Panthers, maybe they weren't that stupid. I want to get that out of the way right away in saying there are some things that we just simply can't know as people watching on the outside. We can look at numbers. We can try to go through and dig as deep as we can. But stuff like medicals is just never going to be something that we have the full picture on. And I think maybe that's what happened. And maybe that's why we saw Terrace Marshall fall. And now I think that what we can expect is we can expect the Carolina Panthers to A, be extremely happy that they have Terrace Marshall. B, maybe we're going to get some type of statement about Marshall's health and why we actually ended up seeing this fall. Yet I want to go back and I want to remember the 2019 class. So if y'all remember, in this class, DK Metcalf was supposed to be a first-round NFL draft pick, just like Terrace Marshall was this year. Okay, yet both players had medical concerns that the dynasty community, we never really understood. We never really got them. In the case of DK Metcalf, it ended up where we didn't have to worry about the medicals. That was just completely situated, and it has never popped up throughout the course of his NFL career. Now, I don't know if we can say that for sure with Terrace Marshall, just because, like I said, there are things that we aren't going to know. But what we do know is we know Terrace Marshall is a great wide receiver prospect. Not only is he one of the very few wide receivers in this entire draft class that has the elite size, he has the elite athleticism, but also he was so impressive at LSU. So let's go through the Terrace Marshall career arc at LSU. Okay, so he's a five-star guy going in, and no, that doesn't really translate too much to NFL production. High school recruit rank to NFL production at the wide receiver position. It does at the running back, but not at the wide receiver. And regardless, if we go through and dig a little bit deeper, so he's that five-star guy. His true freshman season, I mean, you can't blame the guy. He's 18 years old. He's playing in an offense that has both Justin Jefferson and Ja'Marr Chase. So are you going to be expecting Terrace Marshall to go out there and be incredibly productive? You just simply can't. You can't expect that type of production from a wide receiver that is playing alongside two elite guys that are quality NFL talents, and especially when he's 18 years old. Now he gets to his true sophomore season, and this is the year that 2019 LSU team just completely destroyed records. That's possibly the best college offense that we have ever seen, just dominating in the SEC, just really never having a game that came anywhere close to being a competition. And LSU and Terrace Marshall were actually very impressive that year. So, of course, you had Justin Jefferson. Of course, you had Ja'Marr Chase being the top two options for Joe Burrow in that offense. Yes, they were the most productive options, but what you actually had is you quietly had Terrace Marshall being very impressive in that 2019 season, being impressive enough to be considered having a breakout season at 19 years old. And then we go to his true junior year, and we look at his junior year, and we go, okay, so now he has the shot to be not a workhorse. He has the shot to be an alpha wide receiver because Justin Jefferson is in the NFL, because Ja'Marr Chase is opting out due to COVID. And what does Terrace Marshall do? He accounts for almost 50% of the LSU offense, something you never see. I mean, he came out and he was one of the best wide receivers in all of college football. The second that he had a chance, the second that Justin Jefferson and Ja'Marr Chase left, it didn't matter that Joe Burrow was then gone. Terrace Marshall was dominant at LSU. Combine that with his size, combine that with his athleticism, and this is going to be so exciting. Now, something I want to point out, guys, is in that 2019 season, who was the head coach? Who was the offensive coordinator for that LSU team? It was Joe Brady. Okay, so with Joe Brady, who is he coaching for now? Let's go through. Let's think about this. Maybe Carolina. Yeah, actually, I think it's the Carolina Panthers. So now you have Terrace Marshall and his old offensive coordinator reunited in Carolina. This is absolutely massive. Now, if we go through and we go, okay, who does this hurt on the Carolina Panthers offense? First, we have to clearly say it helps Sam Darnold getting a top option like this that you don't even expecting. You go from the New York Jets, where you're throwing to Jamison Crowder, Denzel Mims, Brashad Perriman, and you have Adam Gase as your head coach. Then you go over and you have Matt Rule and Joe Brady in your coaching tree, throwing the fact that you have DJ Moore, you have Christian McCaffrey, you have Robbie Anderson. Then you get Terrace Marshall. Sam Darnold, if he doesn't succeed this year, he has no excuses. This is such a good situation. Yet, if we were talking about who this hurts on the Panthers offense, it's going to be very hard to determine that, because whoever the wide receiver is playing the flanker role, the guy who was Robbie Anderson at the beginning of the year, then it transitioned to be DJ Moore at the end of the season, I think that they are fine. Whoever's playing the flanker role in this offense, I think they're going to continue to get their targets. I think they're going to continue to get their volume, and hopefully the overall productivity and efficiency of the offense gets a boost up. So if you're seeing that same type of target share, then you could expect those players to get a small bump up. Yet the guy that's going to be a little bit more of the field stretching option, like I said, it's almost impossible to say who this is going to be between Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore right now. Robbie Anderson on paper looks like the more deep threat, and then DJ Moore looks like the flanker, but that's not exactly how they were used last season with the new coaching staff. So it's going to be just probably hurting both DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson's dynasty value. Now, obviously, DJ Moore is incredibly young, so maybe he's a little more insulated compared to a Robbie Anderson who you wanted production from right away. But yeah, Terrace Marshall, I think that this is a great spot in that he is going to a team where his head coach is incredibly creative. We saw this in 2020. He's meeting up with his old offensive coordinator. So yeah, I think this is a good landing spot despite him having competition for targets, despite the quarterback not necessarily being great, because there are signs that we can point to. Okay, so let's go through and let's read the general chat real quick. James says, Carolina filled Curtis Samuel out very well. Yeah, here's what's interesting. Terrace Marshall and Curtis Samuel are so different, where Terrace Marshall is a little bit more of that prototypical alpha wide receiver, where Terrace Marshall is a guy that's electric, dynamic, but they're playing two completely different roles. So maybe you see DJ Moore slide into that Curtis Samuel role. I think that would fit actually very nicely. Mike says, could have been so good if the Chiefs picked him. Yeah, like I said, please let me know if y'all think I am right with my hypothesis that the medicals just didn't check out, and that's why you saw Terrace Marshall fall to the mid-second, because he checks every box. I have no idea why a team would ever take Dwayne Eskridge over Terrace Marshall. Okay, so let's go through. And Tia Kappa says, Joe Brady and Terrace Marshall fire. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jonas says, I'm a Panther fan. What do you think of the pick? I really like it. I think that Terrace Marshall is a fantastic value here. I think he was best player available. Now, the question is, what do the medicals look like? I think that we have to try to find some reason that he fell, because I think that he should have gone late first. I have no idea why he fell this far. Okay, Mike says, best wide receiver on the board by far. Not sure they needed one. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could say the same thing about CeeDee Lamb last year, where the Dallas Cowboys decided to take CeeDee Lamb in the middle of the first, even though they had Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup was coming off a very impressive season. Yeah, technically they didn't need a wide receiver, but when the value is too good to pass up on, I think that you just kind of have to take it. Okay, so Tia Kappa says it only hurts Robbie Anderson. Mike says it hurts DJ Moore a bit as well. Yeah, it's going to be hard to see between those. Now, Ian says rookie drafts tonight. Yeah, man, we've been going through our rookie drafts, and we did some mock drafts this morning for the channel. If you're subscribed, if you have your notifications on, I'm sure you're able to make it out to that. But it looks like the Bucks just took Kyle Trask. That is interesting. Maybe we'll do a live stream on that. I don't know yet, but we're not going to be talking about that right now. And Code Plays is asking, is Robbie Anderson a free agent next year? I don't know if he's officially a free agent. I know I was looking at his contract a while ago, and I remember that he didn't have guaranteed money. Let me look up if he's technically a free agent or he just has no guaranteed money left on the contract. It's essentially the same thing. Okay, so no, yes, he is a free agent next offseason. Okay, so it looks like this is actually going to be a great fit. It looks like they're probably going to let Robbie Anderson walk next offseason, have Terrace Marshall playing alongside DJ Moore. This is fantastic. I am very excited about this. Now, I'm going to end this live stream. Maybe we go live with the Kyle Trask one. Just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have that notification bell hit. And more importantly, guys, when we're doing these short live streams, it's so important that y'all are dropping those likes, because really, YouTube is never going to recommend a short video whenever I'm spam uploading them unless they're getting a ridiculous amount of likes. So please help me out.